Ancient cities were once protected not by armies, but by stone guardians of immense power. These enigmatic guardian beasts are the silent keys to unlocking how entire civilizations viewed the universe. We will journey across continents and eras to uncover the hidden meanings behind the world's most mysterious protectors. You will discover the secret language of mythical creatures, from the riddles of the Sphinx to the dragons that guarded cosmic order. What profound truth about human nature was carved into the paws of a Chinese lion? And what terrifying balance did a Norse serpent maintain by biting its own tail? By the end, you will see myth and history not as separate subjects, but as a single, interwoven story of our deepest fears and highest aspirations. What forgotten part of our own world might still be waiting for its guardian? Carved from the living rock of the Giza Plateau, the Sphinx presents a riddle in its very form. Its human head, often linked to the pharaoh coffer, gazes eternally eastward, a symbol of royal intellect and divine reason. This is paired not with another human form, but with the powerful body of a lion, the ultimate emblem of physical strength and territorial sovereignty. This was no arbitrary combination. It represented a complete philosophy of power, a belief that true rulership required the perfect marriage of the mind and the might of the natural world. Its primary duty was as a celestial guardian, a protector of the horizon where the sun was reborn each dawn. As a manifestation of the sun god Ra, the Sphinx ensured the sun's safe journey, fighting back the chaotic forces of darkness that threatened the cosmic order. This made it a spiritual sentinel for the entire necropolis, a stone guarantee for the safe passage of the pharaoh's soul into the afterlife. Its silent, knowing expression seems to challenge the desert itself, a permanent statement that civilization, embodied by human reason, has tamed the raw, untamed power of the wild. This foundational idea of a hybrid guardian, one that merges different realms of power into a single, watchful entity, would travel far beyond the sands of Egypt, finding new life and new forms in distant lands. This idea of a hybrid guardian merging the power of different creatures reached its most formidable expression far to the east in Mesopotamia. Guarding the grand gateways of Assyrian cities stood the Lamassu, colossal figures carved from single blocks of alabaster. They were designed with a brilliant optical illusion possessing 5 legs. From the front, you see a creature standing immovably firm, a permanent sentinel. But from the side, it appears to be striding purposefully forward, a being of unstoppable motion. This was a deliberate fusion of eternal stability and active power, a message carved in stone for any who dared approach. The Lamassu itself was a composite of the known world's greatest strengths. It bore the brute, unyielding power of a bull, the far-seeing intelligence and authority of a human head, often crowned with the regal headdress of a king, and the soaring freedom and divine connection of an eagle's vast wings. This triad represented a complete and perfect form of sovereignty. Their primary role was Apotropaic, a term meaning they were believed to actively ward off malevolent spiritual forces and physical enemies alike. They were not merely decorative. Inscriptions carved directly into the stone plinths declared their purpose, stating they were placed to turn back the enemy and to establish the foundation of the royal palace for all time. They were the celestial border guards for both the city and the king's divine right to rule, a permanent declaration that this space was under the protection of higher powers. The sheer scale of these figures, meant to be viewed from below, was an intentional psychological tool, inspiring a mix of awe and deep-seated fear. This use of monumental, symbolic art to project an image of invincibility reveals a core strategy of ancient statecraft, a theme that would find a very different but equally powerful expression in the Guardians of the Far East. Across the ancient world, the concept of guardianship was evolving from solitary watchers into a harmonious duality. Within the heart of the Forbidden City, this principle finds its most elegant expression in the silent, powerful forms of the Chinese guardian lions. These majestic stone beasts, often called shi or fu dogs, never stand alone. They are always found in pairs, a deliberate arrangement that speaks to a profound understanding of cosmic and social balance. Their journey to China is a story of cultural exchange, arriving along the Silk Road and being reshaped by Buddhist tradition into uniquely Chinese symbols of imperial authority. The pair operates as a single, complete unit of protection. The male lion is instantly recognizable, his right paw resting firmly upon an embroidered ball. This sphere is no mere toy. It represents his supremacy over the world, his control of the celestial orb, and his unwavering authority. Across from him, the female lion presses her left paw upon a playful cub, sometimes shown rolling on its back. This tender yet firm gesture symbolizes her nurturing of the lineage, ensuring the dynasty's continuation and the protection of the family within. This visual language communicates a complete societal ideal, the yang power of the male governing the external world, perfectly balanced by the yin nurture of the female safeguarding the internal, domestic sphere. Their roles were deeply layered. On a spiritual level, their formidable presence and gaping mouths were believed to scatter malevolent forces, their legendary roar so potent it could terrify evil spirits into fleeing. On a social level, they were a clear, unspoken declaration of status. The size, intricacy, and placement of a pair of lions immediately communicated the importance and wealth of the household or institution they guarded. They physically embodied the Confucian ideal of a well-ordered world, where every being has its proper place and role, from the emperor down to the smallest cub. This sophisticated encoding of philosophy into public art demonstrates how guardian beasts became more than just protectors. They became teachers in stone, instructing all who passed by on the principles of a harmonious society. This idea of a beast representing not just power but an entire cosmic system finds a far more chaotic and primal echo in the frozen north. High in the windswept mountains of Scythia, a different kind of sentinel was imagined, one that fused the domains of earth and sky into a single, terrifying form. The Griffin, with the powerful body of a lion and the keen head and vast wings of an eagle, was the undisputed master of its remote domain. It represented the ultimate synthesis of two apex creatures, combining the lion's terrestrial sovereignty with the eagle's celestial authority and unmatched vision. This was not a guardian of city gates or imperial courtyards, but a vigilant protector of the earth's most precious and hidden treasures, immense hoards of gold. Its legendary role was to guard these glittering veins against all who would seek to take them, making it a symbol of immense, untouchable wealth and the fierce power required to defend it. In the art and stories of ancient Greece and Persia, the Griffin's purpose deepened beyond mere treasure guarding. It became intimately associated with the divine, often seen as a protector of sacred power and a companion to deities. Its most striking partnership was with Nemesis, the goddess of retribution. The Griffin was depicted drawing her chariot, a powerful symbol of swift and inescapable justice descending from the heavens. This connection transformed the creature from a simple hoarder of gold into an agent of cosmic balance, ensuring that arrogance and hubris would not go unanswered. Its piercing gaze was believed to see not just physical intruders, but the moral worth of any soul that approached. This idea positioned the Griffin as a guardian of thresholds far more significant than gold mines. It became the protector of the path to enlightenment and forbidden knowledge, a mystical barrier that would only permit the truly worthy to pass. To encounter a Griffin was to face a test of one's own spirit and intentions. Its enduring legend carries a profound and universal motif. It reminds us that the things we value most, whether they are material riches, profound wisdom, or divine favor, are never left unguarded. They are always protected by forces of immense power and judgment, ensuring that such prizes are only attained by those with the corresponding strength of character or purpose. This theme of a creature embodying not just protection, but a test of worthiness, finds a chilling parallel in the watery depths of another ancient culture, where a serpent of unimaginable size held the entire world in its coiled grasp. But this delicate balance of power and protection finds its ultimate expression not in a stone statue, but in a living, breathing force of nature itself. In the chilling depths of the Norse cosmos, the world is held in the unbreakable coil of Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent. This is no ordinary beast. Born of the trickster god Loki, this immense sea serpent grew so vast that it completely encircled the known world of Midgard, its body forming a continuous, living ring in the ocean, its tail held firmly in its own mouth. This is the powerful Ouroboros symbol, a creature defined by its own endless cycle. Jörmungandr's role is one of profound and terrifying duality. It is the ultimate guardian of cosmic order, yet it is also the prophesied agent of that order's destruction. Its colossal body acts as a literal and metaphorical barrier, containing the civilized world within its loop and holding back the chaotic, unknown waters that rage beyond. Without this serpentine embrace, the world of humans would be swallowed by primordial chaos. Yet, in the final reckoning of Ragnarok, this same guardian is destined to release its tail, rise from the ocean, and engage in a cataclysmic battle with the thunder god Thor, a conflict that will lead to the end of all things. This is the core complexity of its nature. Jörmungandr is not simply a protector in the way a lion guards a gate. It is a necessary component of the world's very structure, a being of immense power that maintains a fragile, volatile equilibrium. Its existence teaches a stark lesson that sometimes the greatest threat to order and the very force that sustains it can be one and the same. True guardianship in this worldview is not about eliminating danger, but about managing an essential, inherent tension. The serpent's silent, eternal vigil in the deep is a reminder that the balance which allows life to flourish is often terrifyingly precarious, a dance on the edge of an abyss that it both creates and contains. This notion of a world upheld by a being of immense and ambiguous power echoes far beyond the frozen north, finding a unique and deeply rooted expression in the spiritual landscape of the Indian subcontinent. While the Norse serpent represented a terrifying cosmic balance, other cultures sought to build their guardians from a more harmonious union of virtues. At the entrances to magnificent temples across Southeast Asia, a different kind of hybrid stands watch, the Gajasimha. This is a creature of profound synthesis, possessing the powerful, regal body of a lion and the wise, unmistakable head of an elephant. This is not a random combination, but a deliberate fusion of two of the most potent symbols in the Hindu world. The lion brings its ancient legacy of ferocity, courage, and royal authority, a universal language of power. But it is the elephant's head that transforms this guardian's entire meaning. In Hinduism, the elephant is deeply associated with the deity Ganesha, the revered remover of obstacles and the god of wisdom and intellect. By combining these forms, the Gajasimha becomes a sentinel of both body and mind. It is designed to protect sacred spaces from every kind of threat, its lion's form deterring physical dangers and malevolent spirits, while its elephantine intelligence offers a spiritual safeguard, clearing the path for devotees and ensuring a harmonious, obstacle-free journey into the divine presence. You see this remarkable figure prominently in the stone galleries of Khmer temples in Cambodia and the intricate architecture of ancient Java. Its very existence is a testament to cultural exchange and religious syncretism, showing how local traditions absorbed and reinterpreted symbolic ideas to create something entirely new and powerful. The Gadja-Simha teaches a subtle but powerful lesson that the most effective protection does not come from brute force alone, nor from pure intellect by itself. True, enduring guardianship arises from the seamless integration of both, a being as wise as it is strong, as compassionate as it is formidable. This elegant solution to the problem of protection, building a better guardian by combining strengths, invites a startling question. What if the ultimate guardian was not a beast to be placated or a force to be contained, but a state of being so perfect that it required no physical form at all? High above the world, on the inaccessible peak of Mount Alborz, the Simurgh tended its nest of spices and aromatic wood. This was no lair of a monster, but the home of a being of profound benevolence. Its form was a tapestry of creation's finest aspects, blending the iridescent beauty of a peacock, the loyal intelligence of a canine head, and the grounded strength of a lion's claws. It did not merely watch over the land, it purified it, its very presence believed to cleanse the waters and bless the soil. In the great epic, the Shahnameh, we see its compassionate nature unfold. The hero Zal, abandoned as an infant for his unusual white hair, is not devoured by the great bird. Instead, the Simurgh lifts him gently to its eyrie, raising him with a wisdom that spanned ages, teaching him the secrets of medicine and the responsibilities of a just ruler. This act redefines the very concept of a guardian. Here is a protector who nurtures, who mentors, who offers not a threat, but a profound and lasting gift. The single feather Zal is given, a token to summon aid in his darkest hour, transforms the relationship between the human and the divine. It is not a weapon to be wielded, but a promise of guidance, a direct line to a wisdom greater than any king's. The Simurgh's role encompassed the entire cycle of life. It was a symbol of healing, its knowledge mending wounds that mortal physicians could not. It represented fertility, its blessings ensuring the renewal of the earth. Most importantly, it acted as a living bridge, a mediator that unified the celestial realm of the sky with the terrestrial world of humanity. Its flight was a conversation between heaven and earth. This vision presents a guardian whose authority is not rooted in intimidation, but in an immense, compassionate intelligence and a deep, abiding connection to the natural order. It reminds us that in the ancient imagination, protection could wear the face of a nurturing mentor as easily as that of a fierce warrior, offering solace and wisdom to the pure of heart. Yet this vision of a nurturing guardian stands in stark contrast to a beast born from pure, untamed chaos. In the rugged lands of ancient Lycia, the Chimera was less a protector of a place and more the embodiment of the place itself at its most volatile and terrifying. Homer's Iliad describes a creature of impossible anatomy, a lion in its prime with a goat's head bursting from its spine and a serpent forming its tail. This was not a harmonious fusion of strengths but a forced amalgamation of predators, a living contradiction. The Chimera did not guard a temple or a city gate. Instead, it was a territorial guardian of a far more primal kind. Its very presence defined a region as uninhabitable, a place where the raw, destructive power of nature reigned supreme. It became a personification of the natural disasters that haunted the ancient world, its fiery breath echoing the unpredictable wrath of volcanic eruptions, its composite form mirroring the chaotic violence of landslides and storms. To the people of Lycia, the Chimera was not a beast to be placated, but a force of chaos that had to be conquered. The legendary hero Bellerophon, mounted on the divine winged horse Pegasus, represents the human answer to this threat. His victory was not merely the slaying of a monster, it was a symbolic triumph of human ingenuity and divine favor over the untamable wild. The moment civilization declared it would no longer be held hostage by the land's inherent chaos. The Chimera's enduring legacy is this powerful inversion. It teaches us that a guardian is not always a benevolent sentinel. Sometimes the most defining protector of order is the very entity that must be defeated. The monstrous boundary that, once crossed, reveals where safety truly begins. A journey across the sea to Japan reveals a guardian pair whose silence speaks the entire universe into being. At the entrance to a serene Shinto shrine or an ancient Buddhist temple, the Komanyu stand watch. There forms a fascinating departure from the leonine figures of the mainland. Though often called lion dogs, they possess a unique, stylized anatomy that leans into a more canine or even mythical appearance, signaling a complete cultural reinterpretation of the guardian beast. They are never solitary, their power and meaning existing only in their perfect mirrored duality. Look closely and you will see their most profound secret. One creature holds its mouth wide open, forming the sacred sound A, the first syllable of creation in Sanskrit. Its partner has its mouth firmly shut, completing the sound the syllable of dissolution and ending. Together, they are a wordless chant that encapsulates the entire cycle of existence, from the birth of a star to the final breath. This is not merely decoration. It is a core concept of Buddhist philosophy carved into stone, a permanent reminder that everything that begins must also end, and that this cycle itself is what constitutes reality. Their fierce, almost theatrical expressions and dynamic poses, often perched on a single ball or shown in a powerful stride, serve a dual purpose. To a malevolent spirit, they are a terrifying warning, their gaping maws ready to devour any impurity that dares approach. But to the devout visitor, they are not a threat. They are spiritual sentinels, ensuring the sacred ground within remains a protected, purified space for contemplation and connection. Crafted from stone or cast in bronze, these figures weather centuries, their watchful presence a testament to how art can encode the most profound truths of a culture. They teach that protection is not just about barring entry, but about defining a space with a specific spiritual vibration, one that acknowledges the beautiful, endless rhythm of all things. This elegant encoding of cosmic law into a pair of temple guardians makes one wonder if the ultimate purpose of these beasts was not to frighten, but to quietly instruct all who passed by on the fundamental nature of reality itself. Deep within the misty glens and rolling highlands of Celtic lore, a different kind of sentinel prowled, one whose allegiance was not to kings or cities, but to the unseen sovereigns of the land. The Cù-Sìth was a hound of terrifying proportions, a beast as large as a young bull, its coat not of any earthly hue but a profound, spectral shade of dark green. This color alone marked it as a being of the otherworld, a creature belonging to the Ahuizotl, the powerful and often capricious fairy folk. Its role was not to guard the thresholds of human civilization, but the very opposite. It was the fierce warden of the liminal spaces, the ancient fairy mounds and hidden paths that served as fragile doorways between the mortal realm and the world of magic. You would not find this creature at a palace gate. You might encounter it materializing from the evening fog in a lonely stretch of moor, a silent, green shadow standing watch over a seemingly ordinary grassy knoll that was, in truth, a palace of the unseen. The guardianship of the Cù-Sìth was one of profound duality, a balance of warning and ward. Its most famous attribute was its bark, a sound that was said to carry for miles across the still highland air. Legend held that it would bark 3 times and only 3. The first bark would be heard from a great distance, a chilling but remote sound. The second would be closer, signaling the hound was on the move. But if you were unfortunate enough to hear that third, earth-shaking bark right beside you, it was already too late. This triple cry was not merely a sound of alarm, it was a herald of cosmic events. It could signal an imminent fairy raid, where the Ahuizotl would ride forth from their mounds to claim what they wished from the human world. or it could warn of a deeper, more fundamental shift in the veil between worlds. In this role, the Cù-Sìth was both a protector and a predator. It served to keep curious mortals from stumbling into the fairy realm and stealing its secrets or treasures, yet it also actively patrolled the borders, its very presence a declaration that the hidden world was fiercely defended. This embodies the ancient Celtic worldview, a perspective steeped in reverence and a healthy fear of the natural world. Every hill, every stream, every ancient oak was not empty, but alive with unseen forces that demanded respect. The Cù-Sìth was the physical manifestation of that belief, a reminder that humanity shared the land with powers far older and more mysterious. Its story teaches us that the most ancient forms of guardianship were not about protecting us from ourselves, but about enforcing the sacred boundaries between the world we know and the vast, unknown wilderness that lies just beyond sight. This concept of a guardian born from pure chaos finds a powerful counterpoint in the meticulously designed Order of Babylon. Glazed in brilliant blue and gold, the Ishtar Gate was not merely an entrance, it was a declaration. And marching in endless procession along its walls was the Lamassu, the serpent dragon of the god Marduk. Its form was a masterclass in symbolic power, a creature assembled from the most potent parts of the known world. A horned, serpentine head spoke of ancient wisdom and potent primal energy. The powerful forelegs of a lion gave it terrestrial dominion, while the hind legs of an eagle, complete with talons, granted it the authority of the skies. This was no random monster, it was a deliberate fusion, a creature designed to be master of every domain. Its primary role was as the loyal steed and living emblem of Marduk, the supreme god of Babylon. In Babylonian mythology, Marduk's great triumph was over the primordial sea serpent Tiamat, the embodiment of chaos itself. The Lamassu, therefore, was more than a companion. It was a constant, visible reminder of that victory. Every scale on its gleaming ceramic body proclaimed that the forces of order, led by Marduk, had subdued the void. Its image on the gate was deeply apotropaic, a permanent spell of protection woven into the very architecture of the city. For any visitor or enemy approaching Babylon, the message was unmistakable. To challenge this city was to challenge a god whose power was literally etched into its walls, a god who rode a beast that commanded earth, sky, and the deep mysteries in between. The Lamassu's veneration shows how a guardian beast could become utterly fused with a city's identity. It was a living, breathing symbol in the civic imagination, a divine promise of safety and supremacy that assured every citizen they lived under a direct and powerful favor. This intricate relationship between a protector and the identity of a place reveals a profound truth, that to feel safe is to believe your world is held within a story of cosmic order, a story often told not in words, but in the form of a magnificent, scaled guardian. Yet this notion of a guardian as an external force of order takes a deeply personal turn within the silent chambers of the Egyptian afterlife. Here, in the Hall of Maat, the ultimate judgment unfolded, and the final guardian was not a defender of a city, but the enforcer of a soul's destiny. This was Ammit, the Eater of the Dead, a being whose form was a carefully constructed nightmare. She possessed the head and mane of a lion, the powerful front quarters of a hippopotamus, and the rear body and gaping jaws of a crocodile. Each element was chosen with chilling precision, combining three of the most feared and dangerous creatures known to the ancient Egyptians. This was not a form meant to inspire awe, but to evoke a primal, visceral dread. Her role was singular and terrifying. She did not stand at a gateway, but sat patiently beside the scales of justice, her gaze fixed on the balance. Upon these scales, the heart of the deceased was weighed against the single, ethereal feather of Maat, which represented truth, harmony, and a life lived in right order. If the heart, burdened by lies, greed, or violence, sank lower than the feather, the judgment was immediate. Ammit would devour the heart, condemning the individual's soul to a state of non-existence, a fate considered far worse than any punishment. She was a guardian of an entirely different kind. No temples were built in her honor, no prayers were offered to appease her. She was the embodiment of a necessary consequence, the ultimate spiritual boundary. Her fearsome presence served a profound moral purpose, upholding the principle of cosmic balance. The promise of Ammit was not just a threat, it was a societal compact carved into the very belief system of a civilization. It taught that the afterlife was not a right, but a reward earned through ethical conduct in the world of the living. This introduces a radical dimension to the idea of a guardian beast. Ammit was not protecting a physical space from intruders. She was protecting the sanctity and integrity of the divine realm itself. She was the final, impartial arbiter, ensuring that only those who embodied the principle of Mat could pass into the eternal fields of peace. This transforms the Guardian from a symbol of power into a symbol of profound moral accountability, a silent witness to the weight of a life, and the ultimate keeper of a cosmic ethical standard. Carved into the very doorways of Hindu and Buddhist temples, the Makara watches from the threshold. This is no ordinary beast of the deep, but a magnificent fusion of the aquatic and the terrestrial. Its body often carries the formidable, armored strength of a crocodile, a creature long associated with primordial waters and hidden power. Yet from this powerful form emerges the trunk and sometimes the head of an elephant, an immediate symbol of wisdom, royalty, and life-giving reign. Completing this symbolic triad are the elegant, flowing fins of a fish, connecting it to the boundless fertility of the ocean. This unique combination marks the Makara as a being that commands every domain of water, from the mightiest river to the deepest sea. It serves as the sacred Vahana, the divine mount for both Ganga, the goddess of the purifying river, and Varuna, the god of the cosmic ocean and celestial order. This partnership roots the Makara's identity not in fear, but in a profound generative force. It is a living emblem of water itself, the ultimate source of all life, abundance, and spiritual renewal. Its role as a guardian is therefore deeply intertwined with creation. Positioned at the architectural point where the everyday world meets the sacred space within, the Makara does more than just block malevolent spirits. It acts as a cosmic filter. In a beautiful and common motif, the Makara is shown not consuming, but creatively spewing forth an entire cascade of ornate patterns, vines, or even smaller deities from its gaping mouth. This imagery transforms the Guardian from a simple barrier into a portal of transformation. It suggests that to pass this point is to be cleansed, to have the silt of worldly concerns washed away, much as a river naturally purifies itself on its journey to the sea. The transition it guards is therefore not one of denial, but of refinement. It ensures that those who enter do so with a spirit prepared for the divine, having passed through a symbolic current that separates the profane from the profound. This presents a vision of guardianship that is both protective and profoundly generous. The Makara does not merely defend a static space, it actively generates the conditions for spiritual growth, offering abundance and purity in equal measure to all who approach with reverence. But the ultimate boundary, the one no mortal was ever meant to cross, was guarded by a terror of a different order. Deep within the Greek underworld, where the river Styx flows with silent promises, the monstrous three-headed hound Cerberus kept his watch. His form was a nightmare-given flesh, with serpents writhing from his body and a venomous tail that never stilled. His singular, fearsome purpose was to enforce the most fundamental law of existence, the absolute separation between the world of the living and the silent realm of the dead. He barred the living from foolishly entering that sunless land, and with equal vigilance, he prevented the souls of the departed from ever escaping its grasp. This was not a guardian of a city or a temple, but the warden of the final transition itself. His 3 heads were not merely for intimidation, they represented an eternal, all-encompassing vigilance. One head watched the past, another the present, and the third peered into the future, ensuring that no moment in time could offer a gap in his watch. He was the living embodiment of a one-way door, a permanent symbol that some boundaries are woven into the fabric of the cosmos. Yet even this paragon of terror had a known vulnerability, a crack in his formidable armor revealed in the poignant myth of Orpheus. The legendary musician, shattered by the loss of his beloved Eurydice, did not confront the beast with a sword. Instead, he approached with his lyre, weaving a melody of such profound grief and beauty that it temporarily soothed the savage guardian. Cerberus, the relentless enforcer of cosmic law, was subdued not by force but by the power of art and human sorrow. This story reveals a profound truth about the ancient imagination. Even the most absolute and terrifying guardians were not invincible. Their defenses could be bypassed by forces that operated on a different plane entirely, by the divine will of the gods, or by the pure, raw power of human emotion expressed through music, poetry, or love. This suggests that while the boundary between life and death was absolute, the guardians who policed it were still part of a system that acknowledged deeper, more resonant powers. While other guardians enforced boundaries with tooth and claw, a different kind of protector arrived in a halo of quiet grace. The Qilin steps softly into legend, a creature whose very form is a harmony of gentle virtues. Its body carries the serene elegance of a deer, its tail the patient strength of an ox, and its single horn a symbol of focused wisdom, untouched by aggression. Encased in brilliant scales and often wreathed in a mystical, non-consuming flame, it was a walking paradox, a being of immense power defined by its profound gentleness. It was said to be so mindful of all living things that it would tread carefully, never crushing even a single blade of grass beneath its hooves. This was not a guardian that roared or threatened. Its power lay in its presence alone, for the Qilin appeared only as a celestial sign, a divine omen of a golden age. Its rare and wondrous arrival was reserved for moments of supreme harmony, heralding the reign of a truly just and wise ruler or marking the birth or passing of a great sage, most famously the philosopher Confucius. In this role, the Qilin became a living, breathing symbol of the Confucian ideal, a world governed by righteousness, benevolent leadership, and moral virtue. It did not protect the state with walls or weapons, but with a far more potent force, the celestial endorsement of good governance. Its appearance was a message to the entire population that their leader ruled with a mandate from heaven, secured not by conquest but by character. The Qilin thus redefines the very essence of guardianship. It proves that the most profound protection can be passive and symbolic, a moral compass made manifest. It guarded not a physical space, but the ethical integrity of an entire civilization, reminding everyone that true safety and prosperity flow not from fear, but from wisdom and virtue. High in the branches of the great world tree Yggdrasil, a different kind of work is being done. Here, the immense cosmic structure is not patrolled by a stoic beast of stone, but by a creature of frantic energy, the squirrel Ratatoska. Its role defies every conventional notion of a guardian. This is no silent sentinel, but a compulsive messenger, a gossiper of the gods whose sole purpose is to carry words. He spends his days in perpetual motion, a red streak racing up the colossal trunk and scurrying down its roots, his path forming a continuous, agitated loop between the highest and lowest realms. At the summit, a great and wise eagle keeps watch, while deep below, the monstrous dragon Nidhogg ceaselessly gnaws at the tree's foundational roots. Ratatoska is the living, breathing link between these two polar opposites, but his mission is one of pure provocation. He does not carry greetings or news, he delivers carefully curated insults, whispering the eagle's scorn into the dragon's ear, and then racing back up to fuel the eagle's fury with Nidhogg's latest retort. This is not a failure of his duty, it is the duty itself. Ratatoska is a guardian of a volatile, necessary tension. His ceaseless relay of malice ensures that the fundamental conflict between the lofty, celestial order and the chthonic, destructive forces remains active and engaged. Without his meddling, this critical, dynamic enmity might stagnate or fade, and the delicate, living balance of the entire cosmos could be thrown into disarray. He proves that guardianship is not always about preserving peace. Sometimes it is about maintaining a certain level of creative chaos, managing the essential flow of information and interaction, however contentious, that keeps the entire system vibrating with life. This mischievous squirrel embodies a profound and unsettling truth that even malice, when channeled through a specific cosmic role, can become a strange and vital form of order. From the cosmic tree to the jungle's edge, the sound of a crying child drifts across a moonlit lake. This heartbreaking plea is a lie, a phantom call from the dark waters of an Aztec world. It is the voice of the Ahuizotl, a guardian whose methods were as treacherous as the domain it ruled. This creature was a paradox of anatomy, a beast with the form of a sleek, powerful dog, yet gifted with the nimble, grasping hands of a monkey. Its most terrible weapon was the hand that grew from the very tip of its tail, a limb designed not for balance but for a single, dreadful purpose, to seize its victims and drag them into the depths. This was no aimless monster. The Ahuizotl was appointed as a warden of the water, a specific protector of the fish that swam in the lakes of the Valley of Mexico. In a civilization that relied on aquatic resources, the fish were a vital, living treasure. The Ahuizotl's duty was to ensure this treasure was not plundered. It was an ecological enforcer, a mythological representation of a fundamental law, that nature's generosity was not without limits. Its terrifying nature reveals a profound cultural understanding. The Ahuizotl did not attack at random. It targeted those who took more fish than they needed for their family, the greedy who exploited the lake's bounty without thought for the future. It also claimed those who strayed too close to its sacred domain, the over-curious who showed disrespect for the boundary between the human world and the wild, watery realm. In this, its role was deeply ambivalent. It was both a protector of a resource and a personification of the natural world's retribution. It ensured sustainability not through gentle reminder, but through the ultimate consequence. The Ahuizotl teaches a stark lesson that echoes through the ages. True guardianship of a resource sometimes requires a fearsome aspect. It embodies the idea that protection can carry a stern and unforgiving price, a reminder that taking from the world demands a corresponding measure of respect and restraint. This belief in a guardian that punishes imbalance shows how myth was used to encode practical wisdom, a warning system carved not in stone, but in the collective imagination, ensuring that the community lived in harmony with the environment that sustained it. The wilderness of Slavic folklore held its breath before the shadow of the Zime Goranich. This was the classic dragon of the deep woods and lonely mountains, a serpentine terror whose very form declared its dominance. It soared on leathern wings, breathing not just fire but a palpable sense of dread. Its most defining feature was its multiplicity of heads, most famously 3, but sometimes 6 or even 12, each one a separate mind of malice. This was not a simple monster to be slain with a single, lucky strike. In many tales, if a hero managed to sever one of its heads, 2 more would sprout from the bleeding stump, a horrifying cycle of regeneration that made the creature seem truly immortal. This was a beast designed to be a nearly insurmountable obstacle, its many heads representing a hyper-vigilance that left no angle of approach unguarded. It was the ultimate warden of a place, a territorial guardian of a specific mountain, a dark forest, or a secluded body of water. Its presence defined that space as its own, a pocket of the world where the old, untamed, and hostile wilderness still held absolute sway. The Zime was often a hoarder gathering treasure in its deep lair, and like many dragons of Western myth, it was a kidnapper of royalty, spiriting away princesses to its remote fortress. This act was more than a simple plot device. It represented nature's chaotic power actively capturing the very symbols of human order and lineage. The princess was civilization itself, held hostage by the raw, unpredictable wild. And so the hero had to come. In Slavic tales, this was the Bogata, a knightly figure of immense courage and folkish ingenuity. His battle with the Zime Goranich was the central drama of countless stories, a conflict that resonated on a profound cultural level. This was not merely a fight against a beast. It was the symbolic triumph of human courage, community, and cleverness over the chaotic and destructive forces that threatened to overwhelm the fragile villages at the edge of the forest. The dragon's defeat was a necessary ritual, a story told and retold to affirm that civilization could indeed flourish, that fields could be cleared and homes built safely, but only after the most powerful guardian of the old wilderness had been confronted and overcome. The Zime Goranich, in all its terrifying glory, perfectly illustrates the archetype of the guardian as an antagonist, a necessary obstacle that must be defeated for a new chapter of human endeavor to truly begin. But the heavens also had their hunter, a guardian whose very nature was forged in opposition to the world below. High above the clouds soars Garuda, the magnificent king of birds, a being of gold and crimson whose form merges human nobility with the piercing features of an eagle. His powerful wings beat with the rhythm of storms, and his talons are sharp enough to tear through deception itself. This celestial being serves as the divine vehicle, the Vahana, for the great god Vishnu, the preserver of cosmic order. In this role, Garuda is far more than a simple mount. He is an active, mobile extension of divine will, carrying the power of preservation directly into the world to confront specific forms of corruption. His most famous and defining conflict is his eternal enmity with the Nagas, the race of divine serpents. This is not a simple battle of predator and prey. It is a profound cosmic allegory playing out across the sky. The relentless hunt represents the spiritual struggle between the higher self, which soars toward enlightenment and freedom, and the lower self, which is bound to earthly desires and primal instincts. Garuda's victory over the serpent symbolizes the triumph of consciousness over the coiled, hidden fears and attachments that can poison the human spirit. This potent symbolism translated into a very tangible form of protection for people. Across South and Southeast Asia, Garuda's image became one of the most powerful protective talismans. His likeness was carved over temple gateways and painted onto shields, believed to offer a direct defense against snake venom and the invisible toxins of black magic. To invoke Garuda was to call upon a force that actively sought out and neutralized spiritual and physical corruption. This reveals a guardian of a different nature. He is not a static boundary marker or a patient judge, but a dynamic agent of a higher power. Garuda embodies the idea that true protection is sometimes an active pursuit, a relentless, soaring hunt against the slithering, venomous evils that threaten to undermine the world's sacred balance. This elegant containment of primal forces finds a powerful echo in the art of Egypt's earliest dynasties. Look closely at the ceremonial Nama palette, and you will see two fantastic creatures, their long, serpentine necks intertwined, held firmly in check by the attendants of the king. This is the Serpopard, a being of deliberate contradiction, fusing the sleek, predatory body of a leopard with the impossibly elongated neck of a snake. It is a walking paradox, a creature of the earth gifted with a limb that moves with the fluid, unpredictable menace of a serpent. This was not a guardian to be worshipped at a gate, but a representation of the very wilderness that constantly threatened the fragile order of the Nile Valley. The Serpopard embodied the raw, untamed chaos of the desert, the unseen dangers that lurked just beyond the irrigated fields and mud brick walls. Its symbolic power lay entirely in its depiction of being mastered. On the palette, the creatures are not running free, they are bound, their necks looped together in a ritual act of control performed by human hands. This image was a profound statement of cosmic governance. It proclaimed that the role of the pharaoh, and by extension all of human civilization, was to dominate these chaotic forces. By symbolically restraining the Serpopard, the artist was asserting that humanity could impose order on the wild, that reason and ritual could keep the latent chaos of the world at bay. In this sense, the Serpopard becomes a unique kind of guardian. Its power is not in its protection, but in its potential for destruction, a potential that is only neutralized through constant human vigilance and royal authority. It serves as a permanent reminder that the safety of a society is not a given, but a delicate achievement, maintained by the ongoing effort to hold the wildness of the world in a carefully managed symbolic leash. A creature of impossible grace steps from the shadows of the medieval mind. The unicorn, a being more like a luminous horse than a beast of prey, carried a single, spiraled horn upon its brow, a lance of pure intention. It did not guard a castle wall or a temple gate, for its domain was far more elusive. This was a guardian of an idea, a living emblem of purity in a world perceived as fallen and corrupt. Its legend was bound by a singular poetic rule. The unicorn, untamable by any hunter or warrior, would lay its head gently in the lap of a pure maiden, finding in her innocence a sanctuary that disarmed its wild nature. This poignant image transformed the creature into a profound spiritual metaphor. Within the illuminated pages of Christian bestiaries, the unicorn's capture became a direct allegory for the Incarnation, where the maiden represented the Virgin Mary and the mystical beast symbolized Christ, drawn into the world through divine innocence. Its horn, known as the alicorn, was believed to possess miraculous properties, capable of neutralizing any poison and cleansing tainted water, making it the ultimate antidote to the world's hidden venoms. This was not protection through force, but through purification. The very existence of the unicorn served as a testament, a glowing reassurance that absolute innocence was not just a concept, but a tangible, almost touchable force in the universe. It offered a different kind of safety, one that resided in the affirmation of sacred virtues. To believe in the unicorn was to believe that purity itself had the power to heal and guard the human spirit. This shifts the entire concept of a guardian from an external power to an internal state, suggesting that the most potent protection might be found not in a fortress, but in the untarnished heart. Yet even the purest heart must one day face the fire. From the silent ashes of its own end, the phoenix rises, a blaze of crimson and gold feathers igniting a new dawn. This magnificent bird, celebrated from the sun-baked temples of Egypt to the philosophical halls of Greece, was a guardian unlike any other. It protected no city gate, no mountain pass, no treasure hoard. Its sacred charge was far more profound, the eternal cycle of life itself. In Egyptian tradition, the phoenix was the Bennu bird, a living manifestation of the sun god Ra. Each evening it appeared to perish with the setting sun, only to be reborn anew with the first light of dawn, a daily promise that darkness was never permanent. This was not a physical death in the way we understand it, but a ceremonial passing, a necessary transformation that guaranteed the world's continuation. The phoenix's legendary life cycle, living for centuries before building its own fragrant pyre and being consumed by sacred flames, only to emerge fresh and young from the embers, served as the ultimate symbol of resilience. It was a cosmic guardian of time and renewal, a feathered assurance that the soul is imperishable and that every ending contains the seed of a new beginning. For entire civilizations, this belief was a psychological fortress. The Phoenix guarded the human spirit against despair, offering a narrative where loss was not a final state, but a phase in a grander, repeating pattern. It guaranteed that empires, though they might fall, could see their ideals reborn in new forms, and that the spirit, though it might depart, would find its way back to the light. This creature's true power was its ability to protect hope itself, making it a guardian not of stone and space, but of the timeless, burning potential within us all. Yet even the most harmonious society could be pierced by a darkness that defied all physical guards. In the shadowed hours of medieval Japan, a different kind of beast descended from the sky, one that protected nothing and heralded everything foul. The NUE was a creature of unsettling patchwork anatomy, a true chimera stitched from the most unsettling parts of the natural world. It possessed the cunning head of a monkey, the deceptively rounded body of a tanuki, the powerful, predatory legs of a tiger, and the sinister, coiling threat of a snake for a tail. Its voice was a cruel mockery of beauty, crying out not with a roar, but with the melodic chirp of a thrush, a sound that made its terrifying form all the more unnatural. This was no guardian of a place. It was an anti-guardian, a living, breathing personification of inexplicable misfortune. On nights when the moon was hidden and clouds choked the sky, the NUE would descend upon the imperial palace in the ancient capital. Its arrival was not marked by physical attack, but by a mysterious, sickening cloud that would shroud the city, bringing with it a wave of illness and a deep sense of dread that seeped into the very foundations of power. The creature did not guard a treasure. It was the embodiment of the threat itself, a symbol of all the unseen, unexplainable forces of disease and bad luck that could strike even the most fortified and sacred of spaces. Its existence forced a profound shift in the idea of protection. The hero, Minamoto no Yorimasa, did not seek to placate this beast or pass its test. His legendary act, shooting the creature down from the sky with a single, fateful arrow, was a form of exorcism. It was humanity performing an act of guardianship upon itself, actively confronting and physically driving away the personified source of its suffering. The story of the NUE reveals a critical truth in the ancient mind. To name a threat, to give it a form, however monstrous, was the first step to conquering it. By defeating the NUE, the culture was not just celebrating a hero, it was reaffirming its own power to reclaim order from chaos, to cleanse the air of sickness, and to restore safety by vanquishing the very image of its fears. A horse with eyes like embers might watch you from a misty field in rural Ireland, its form both familiar and deeply unsettling. This is the Púca, a master of forms who rarely shows its true face, preferring instead the sleek, powerful shape of a black steed or the unsettling guise of a strange hybrid beast. Its nature is as fluid as its appearance, a being that defies simple labels of good or evil. One evening, it might appear at a farmer's door, its voice a low rumble offering a prophecy of a coming storm, or guiding the family to a hidden patch of land where the soil is richest. In such moments, it feels like a genuine protector, a hidden warden of the land's abundance. Yet, on another night, that same creature could lead a lone traveler on a terrifying chase across moors and bogs, leaving them lost and bewildered under the cold stars, or play a destructive prank that ruins a season's harvest. This was not random malice. The Púca's actions were a direct response to human conduct. It served as the ultimate guardian of the wild, untamed heart of the countryside, a force that actively enforced a code of respect. To encounter the Púca was to be tested. Did you approach the land with humility or with a sense of arrogant ownership? Were your intentions pure, or were you there to take without giving thanks? Its complex relationship with humanity was a lesson in caution and consequence, a reminder that the natural world was not a passive resource to be exploited, but a sentient, active participant in life. This shape-shifting trickster embodied a profound form of guardianship based entirely on reciprocity. It ensured that the balance between people and the land was maintained, rewarding those who lived in harmony with it and delivering a sharp, memorable lesson to those who did not. The Púca's enduring legend carries a warning that feels strikingly modern, that our relationship with the world around us is a two-way street, and that the environment itself may have its own, unpredictable ways of enforcing the rules. This theft plunged the cosmos into a profound crisis. With the sacred tablet in his grasp, Anzu held command over the very laws of existence, the fates of gods and mortals alike now subject to his will. He was no longer a mere guardian who had betrayed his post. He had become a rival to the very foundation of divine authority. The established order, which relied on the tablet of destinies remaining in the rightful hands of Enlil, was thrown into disarray. The story of Anzu serves as a powerful allegory for the corrupting nature of absolute power. Here was a being entrusted with the ultimate responsibility, a protector of the source of cosmic law, who then used that same power to subvert the system he was meant to uphold. His rebellion illustrates a timeless anxiety, the fear that the very forces created for protection can, if their loyalty wavers, become the greatest threat of all. The narrative poses a difficult question: where does true legitimacy lie? Is it in the one who holds the power, or in the purpose for which that power is wielded? The gods themselves were thrown into paralysis, their own authority rendered fragile by this act of internal treachery. Into this void of inaction stepped the hero god Ninurta. His epic battle against the colossal Thunderbird was not merely a physical contest. It was a necessary act of cosmic restoration. Ninurta's eventual victory and his recovery of the Tablet of Destinies did more than just defeat a monster. It re-established a crucial principle. It affirmed that power, no matter how immense, must be exercised with legitimacy and in service to a just order. The true guardian, in the end, is not defined by strength alone, but by the righteousness of their cause. This ancient myth resonates with a chilling clarity, reminding us that the most dangerous sentinel is not always the one outside the gates, but the one who decides to lock them from the inside. From the silent Sphinx to the mischievous squirrel, these guardians reveal a profound truth about our ancestors. They were not merely inventing monsters, they were giving concrete form to the invisible forces that shaped their lives, turning abstract fears and highest ideals into something they could see, name, and ultimately understand. Each creature served as a vital piece of a civilization's psychological armor, a symbolic bulwark against the chaos of the unknown. They defined the sacred boundaries between the city and the wild, between life and death, and between the world of humanity and the realm of the gods. Their roles were astonishingly diverse, showing us that protection is a deeply layered concept. It could be the physical defense of a Lamassu, the cosmic balance of Jörmungandr, the moral judgment of Ammit, or the ecological enforcement of the Ahuizotl. They were the keepers of cosmic order, the enforcers of environmental respect, and the guardians of a society's moral compass, all at once. These stories, carved in stone and passed down through generations, continue to speak to us because they are ultimately about us. The guardians we imagine reflect the world we inhabit and the values we hold most dear. They challenge us to consider what we are protecting today and what new forms our own fears and hopes might take. We would love to hear which of these symbolic beings resonated most deeply with you. Was it the nurturing wisdom of the Simurgh or the formidable duality of the Midgard Serpent? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this journey into the heart of historical mysteries, Subscribe for more explorations into the forgotten stories that shape our world.